Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode 3 of Kannakids. Today we will talk about something called the Entourage Effect. This topic is actually one of the more important ones when it comes to medical cannabis. Perhaps you or someone you know may have tried some CBD products in the past from several other companies, and they just never seem to work for you, for your child, or for that person that you know. And well, now, while you think it's a bunch of horse, you can fill in the blank there, but it's not. It is actually most likely due to the product itself. And some of this will be discussed and intertwined with this topic of the entourage effect. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain why it's important to understand what the entourage effect is and how you can use this to your advantage when you're treating your child's or your own ailments. So join me now on today's episode of Kannakids. I'm Vanessa, the medical cannabis nurse for kids, as well as the owner and CEO of Elevated Healing. Okay, so the entourage effect. So simply put, the entourage effect means that when all of the plant compounds found in the cannabis plant work together, they're actually more effective in providing relief than if they were to work alone or in isolation. Also, when all these compounds are in the presence of one another, they sometimes shape and influence one another's end effect. It's kind of like how you may express yourself when you're at a party in the presence of your coworkers, versus a party with your best friend versus a party with maybe your family. You're probably thinking, well, duh, this makes sense. But while this does, this has not always been the thought process and is still argued at times. But patients and many others are experiencing greater relief with products containing a number of the plant compounds and the right compounds rather than THC alone or CBD alone. So why should you care about any of this information? Well, if you choose not to seek out a healthcare professional for your child or yourself who's proficient in this area to guide you, and rather you decide to venture and shop on your own, well, it's important to do the research on the company and their product before you purchase. You want to know what's in the product, and then based what's on in it, if that particular product is actually going to be indeed effective in providing relief. Because now that you know that when there is more of the whole plant in the product, meaning all of its compounds, there's going to be a greater effect, and this is the entourage effect. So a product that would contain a vast array of these compounds would be what we call a full spectrum product. Full spectrum means that it contains everything in the plant, such as CBD, THC, but the THC is less than 0.3%. So this means it will not cause that high we always think of when we hear THC. And then other compounds can include ones like CBDA, CBG, CBC, CBN, to name a few, as well as other compounds called terpenes and flavonoids. Now, each of these compounds have different properties and different therapeutic effects. Now, a medical cannabis healthcare professional would be able to tell you what compounds would work best in targeting the symptoms you're looking to quell for your child or for yourself. And also, when shopping for full spectrum products, it's also important to remember that each product will have varying amounts of these plant compounds, which is also an important game player when determining if that particular product will actually be beneficial. Now, no two full spectrum products are created the same, and this is why we need to do the research. One little keynote I want to repeat and stress here is full spectrum products should be labeled in large lettering, full spectrum hemp on the label, and not CBD. CBD can be on the label, but it must be in much smaller lettering. When you see full spectrum hemp in the large lettering on the product label, this means that the company is following FDA regulations. My apologies, I do digress here. So back to the point, using a full spectrum hemp product will be more effective in providing greater relief than a product that is just CBD only, or even a broad spectrum product, which simply just means that it contains everything but the THC. But remember, the amount of THC in a full spectrum is minute, and in such small amounts, it cannot cause that high, but it gives you the benefits, and when consumed with all the other cannabis plant compounds, it has greater synergy, and therefore it has greater success in symptom relief. And again, this is known as the entourage effect. So the lesson here is simple. The sum of all the plant compounds found in the cannabis plant are more effective in providing relief when they work together than when they work alone. But this is only half the battle. Now, finding the full spectrum hemp cocktail that is going to be effective because it contains all the right compounds from a reputable, trustworthy company is a significant part of the battle too. This is why it is always advised to work hand in hand with a cannabis healthcare professional who can guide you safely and more cost effectively, because what they do is they take the guesswork out for you. But you should still become a savvy shopper, which will be one of my near future topics here, where I'll provide you with some guidelines as to what you should look for when shopping for these products. In the meantime, please share my video with anyone you think may benefit from this information or from my services. Visit my website at www.elevated-healing.com. Thanks for tuning in, and look out for next Tuesday's episode of Kannakids. Until then, be safe, be healthy, and always know there's hope around the corner. Bye, everyone.